I'm about to share a story that's woven into my very soul. Imagine me, caught in a web of duty, stepping into a world brimming with secrets and promises. Will I find love where I least expected it? If you're curious to walk this path with me, full of family, forgiveness, and quiet courage, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let's unravel this tale together, one heartfelt moment at a time. I am Lily Harper, 24 years old, standing in the shadowed heart of an old Charleston church where the air feels heavy with secrets. The white silk dress clings to my chilled skin, its delicate threads whispering against my trembling body. Above me, the chandelier's crystals catch the dim light, scattering flecks of gold like frozen tears across the pews. My fingers tighten around the silver ring on my right hand. Mother's ring, worn smooth by years of her touch, now cold as the promise I'm about to make. I'm here to save her, to pull her from the hospital bills that threaten to drown us. But as I stand at this altar, I wonder if I'm trading one prison for another. Nathan Caldwell looms before me, 36, a man carved from stone and shadow. His eyes, sharp green like sea glass, cut through me without warmth. His black suit fits his tall frame perfectly, but it's his presence, steady, commanding, that fills the space. "You are my wife," he says, his voice low, a rumble like a distant storm. His breath carries the faint bite of coffee, stirring the air between us as he slides a gold band onto my finger. My hand shakes, the metal foreign and heavy, nothing like the familiar weight of Mother's silver ring. I nod, unable to speak, my throat tight with fear and duty. The church is nearly empty, save for a few of Nathan's associates in crisp suits, their faces unreadable. My eyes drift to the back pew, where Mother sits, fragile in her faded blue dress. Her eyes are red-rimmed, but she offers a weak smile, a flicker of strength that pierces my heart. I see her as she was years ago, in our little seaside cottage, singing lullabies in the kitchen while bread baked, her voice soft as the waves outside. That memory anchors me now, reminding me why I'm here. For her, for Ben, my 16-year-old brother, waiting at home with his dreams of music. I can't let them down. The organ's mournful notes echo off the stone walls, each chord a weight pressing on my chest. My heels click sharply on the marble floor as Nathan leads me down the aisle, his hand grazing mine, hot, startling, like a spark in the dark. I pull back instinctively, and his gaze flicks to me, unreadable. What does he see? A girl too young, too naive, caught in a bargain she barely understands? I've never known love, never felt a heart race for anyone. Yet here I am, bound to this stranger, a man whose world of wealth and power feels as distant as the stars. We pause at the church doors, and I slip my hand into the pocket of Mother's coat, left draped over a pew. My fingers brush paper, letter, folded tight, its edges soft with age. I unfold it carefully, my breath catching at Mother's handwriting, trembling and faint. "Lily, forgive your father." My pulse stumbles. Father left when I was 5, a shadow in my memory, his absence a wound Mother never speaks of. What does she mean, forgive him? What secret has she carried all these years? I glance at Nathan, standing a few steps away, his profile sharp against the stained glass glow. Does he know something I don't? The question lingers as we step into the Charleston dusk, the air thick with salt and magnolia. Nathan's car waits, a sleek black machine that hums with quiet power. He opens the door for me, his movements precise, but his eyes avoid mine. I slide inside, the leather cool against my skin, and clutch the letter tighter. Mother's lullaby plays in my mind. "Hush now, my darling, the waves will carry you home," a melody that once promised safety. Now, it feels like a plea, urging me to find light in this gilded cage I'm entering. I look at Nathan as he drives, his hands steady on the wheel, the faint scent of coffee clinging to him. He's a mystery, a man who commands boardrooms and builds empires, yet agreed to this marriage to settle a debt I don't fully grasp. Why me? Why now? The silver ring warms under my touch, its smoothness a tether to mother, to the life I'm fighting to save. I think of her smile in the church, fragile but fierce, and Ben's laughter when he plays his battered guitar. There, my reason, my strength. The city fades into the outskirts, where Nathan's mansion waits, a fortress of stone and glass, its lights gleaming like distant stars. My heart pounds as we approach, each mile pulling me deeper into his world. I'm a florist, a girl who arranges daisies and dreams of simple joys, now stepping into a life of chandeliers and contracts. Will I lose myself here? Or will I find something more? Something I never dared imagine? As Nathan parks, I slip the letter into my sleeve. Its weight a secret I'll unravel later. He turns to me, his eyes softer for a fleeting moment, like the sea after a storm. "This is your home now," he says, and I hear a trace of something. Regret, perhaps, or resolve. I nod, my voice still trapped, and step out, the gravel crunching under my heels. The silver ring presses against my palm, a reminder of Mother's love, her sacrifice. Whatever lies ahead, I'll face it for her, for Ben, for the family we fought to hold together. I take a breath, the night air sharp and alive, and walk toward the mansion's glow. The letter burns in my sleeve, Father's shadow lingering, in its words. I don't know what Nathan wants, or what this marriage will cost me, but as I cross the threshold, Mother's lullaby echoes in my soul, a promise that even in darkness, I might find my way. The Caldwell mansion wraps around me like a velvet trap, its high ceilings and crimson curtains swallowing the light. Each morning, I wander its marble halls, my footsteps echoing in rooms that smell of polished sandalwood and faint coffee, a scent that clings to Nathan like a shadow. He's a ghost here, appearing only to issue clipped commands. Don't disturb my work. His green eyes, sharp as ever, slide past me, leaving a chill I can't shake. I twist the silver ring on my finger. Mother's ring, its worn surface, warm now from my touch. And think of her, of Ben, of the life I'm fighting to hold together. This place, with its chandeliers and silence, feels like a cage, but I won't let it break me. Tonight, I escape to the seaside cottage, a 30-minute drive that feels like crossing worlds. The air in Mother's kitchen is thick with the scent of baking bread, a warm, yeasty hug that pulls me back to childhood. She sits at the table, her frail hands folded, her face pale but softer than it was at the church. I kneel beside her, pressing a warm cloth to her forehead, feeling the faint pulse beneath her skin. Her breath catches, and she hums a fragment of an old lullaby. Hush now, my darling. The same one she sang when I was small, when Ben would toddle after me giggling. The candle on the counter flickers, casting her shadow in a gentle dance across the wall. "You're stronger than me, Lily," she whispers, her voice thin but fierce. Tears sting my eyes, and I squeeze her hand, the warmth of her fingers grounding. Me. This is why I said yes to Nathan, why I wear his ring beside hers. I find a photo in Mother's drawer as I tidy up, an old snapshot of Ben and me 6 years ago, laughing in the garden, daisies tucked in my hair. My chest aches at the memory of simpler days, when debt was just a word, not a chain. I slip the photo into my pocket, a piece of home to carry back to the mansion. The drive back is quiet, the Charleston night heavy with salt and stars. When I step into the mansion's foyer, the air feels colder, the sandalwood sharper. Nathan stands by the tall window, his silhouette stark against the moonlight. He turns, catching my eye, and for a moment, his gaze softens, like the sea after a squall. "You love your family," he says. Not a question, but a statement. His voice low, almost curious. I nod, my throat tight, unsure why his words unsettle me. He walks away, but I notice something on the hall table. A copy of that same photo, Ben and me, daisies and all. My breath hitches. Did he find it? Leave it here? It feels too deliberate to be chance. The next morning, a call from the hospital stops my heart. Mother's bills have been reduced, significantly. No explanation, just a curt note about an anonymous payment. I sit on the edge of my bed, the silk sheets cool against my legs, and stare at the phone. My fingers tremble as I pull on my coat, the photo still in its pocket. I wander to Nathan's study, hesitating at the door. The room smells of leather and coffee, his domain. He's not here, but a slip of paper peeks from his desk. A hospital receipt, marked Harper. My pulse races. Nathan did this. Paid for Mother's care. But why? To tighten his hold on me? Or something else? Something I can't yet name? I clutch. The silver ring, its warmth a lifeline. Mother's words echo, "You're stronger than me." And I think of Ben, his crooked grin when he strums his guitar, dreaming of music school. They're my reason, my fire. But Nathan's gesture, this secret kindness, cracks something open in me. I picture him at the window last night, the moonlight softening his edges. What drives a man like him, who builds empires yet lingers in shadows? I don't trust him, not yet. But I can't ignore the questions blooming in my chest, fragile as the daisies I arrange in my shop. Back in my room, I unfold Mother's letter again, the one from the church. Lily, forgive your father. The words feel heavier now, like a stone I've carried too long. Father's absence shaped us. Mother's illness, Ben's dreams, my sacrifice. What did he do to need forgiving? I trace the ink, smudged by time, and wonder if Nathan knows. His world of wealth and power hides truths I'm only beginning to glimpse. The photo of Ben and me sits on my nightstand now, its edges curling. I touch it, remembering how Mother laughed that day, her voice bright as the sun. I won't let that light fade. The mansion hums with quiet, its grandeur a stark contrast to the cottage's warmth. I stand at my window, watching the oaks sway, in the night breeze, their leaves whispering secrets. Nathan's receipt burns in my mind, a puzzle I can't solve. My fingers tighten around the silver ring, its smoothness a promise. Of Mother's love, of Ben's future, of my own strength. I'm not just a bride in a bargain. I'm Lily Harper, and I'll find my place in this strange new world, even if it means facing the man who holds my hand in his, cold as gold, warm as a mystery. I close my eyes, and Mother's lullaby fills the silence. The waves will carry you home. Maybe they will. Maybe home isn't a place, but a truth I'll uncover, step by trembling step, in the shadow of this man and the secrets we both carry. The Caldwell mansion is a labyrinth of silence, its grandeur a weight I carry each day. By night, its halls seem to hum with secrets, the sandalwood scent sharper in the dark. Nathan remains a shadow, his presence fleeting. Green eyes that catch mine before he turns away, leaving only the faint trace of coffee in the air. I twist Mother's silver ring, its warmth a tether to the cottage, to Ben's laughter, to the life I'm holding together. But tonight, something shifts. A melody drifts from the grand hall, soft and aching. Like a voice from a dream, I follow it, my bare feet cold against the marble, drawn to the sound like a moth to flame. The hall opens to a sea of moonlight, pouring through tall windows to bathe the grand piano in silver. Nathan sits there, his fingers coaxing a tune from the keys, a slow, mournful waltz that feels like grief made sound. His shirt is unbuttoned at the collar, dark hair falling over his brow, and for the first time, he looks not like a titan, but a man. fragile in the glow. I settle on a velvet chair, its wood chilling my skin, and listen. The notes weaving into memories of Mother teaching Ben to play on our old upright, her hands steady despite her illness. The piano stops, and Nathan's eyes find me, sharp, but unguarded. "You don't sleep?" he asks, his voice softer than I've ever heard, a low rumble that stirs the quiet. I shake my head, words spilling before I can stop them. "It reminds me of Ben," I say, my voice catching. Mother taught him piano, back when she could still laugh without coughing. I see Ben's grin, hear his clumsy chords, and my chest tightens. Nathan leans back, his fingers lingering on the keys. "My mother died when I was 8, he says, almost to himself. "She played like this. You remind me of a love I never held." His words land like a stone in still water, rippling through me. I want to ask more, but he stands, the moment breaking, and I'm left with the echo of his confession and the piano's fading hum. Morning brings a call from Mother, her voice thin over the phone. "Come home, Lily," she says, and I drive to the cottage, the sea air sharp with salt. She's in bed, her face pale against the pillows, the kitchen's bread scent faint today. I sit beside her, smoothing her hair, feeling the fragile pulse at her wrist. "There's something you need to know," she whispers, her eyes heavy with a truth she's carried too long. "Your father. He worked for the Caldwells years ago. He betrayed them, stole from their business to chase dreams that never came. The debt he left, it's why I'm sick, why we're here." Her words hit like a tide, pulling me under. Father's absence was always a wound, but this betrayal, recasts everything. The hospital bills, my marriage, Nathan's payment. Did he know? I drive back to the mansion, my hands shaking on the wheel, Mother's letter burning in my pocket. "Forgive your father." The words feel like a taunt now. I find Nathan in his study, the air thick with leather and coffee, papers strewn across his desk. "Did you know?" I demand, my voice breaking, louder than I mean. "About my father, what he did to your family." He looks up, his green eyes steady, and nods once, deliberate. "I knew," he says, standing, his shadow long in the lamplight. "I paid the debt for you, Lily, not for him." I step back, the silver ring heavy on my finger, its weight suddenly unbearable. "Why?" I whisper, tears blurring my vision. "Why me?" He moves closer, stopping just short of touching me, his breath warm on my cheek, smelling faintly of coffee. "Because you fight for them," he says, his voice low, raw. "For your mother, your brother. I've built walls, empires, but you build homes." His words unravel me, cracking the fear I've carried since the church. I think of Mother's lullaby, her voice promising light in the dark, and I see it now, not in Nathan's wealth, but in his eyes, searching mine for something I'm not ready to name. I turn away, my heart pounding, and stumble to my room. The photo of Ben and me sits on the nightstand, daisies bright in my hair. I touch it, remembering Mother's laughter that day, her strength even as illness crept in. Nathan's confession echoes, "You remind me of a love I never held. He's not the man I thought, not just a cold bargain. But what is he to me? A savior? A captor? Or something else? Something growing in the quiet spaces between us." I slip the silver ring from my finger, holding it to the moonlight. It's heavier, now, not with guilt, but with questions. Father's betrayal ties me to Nathan in ways I never imagined, a thread of debt and forgiveness I don't yet understand. I think of Ben, his clumsy piano notes, and Mother, her pulse beneath my fingers. They're my anchor, my reason. But Nathan's melody lingers, a haunting waltz that pulls at my heart, whispering of a love I've never known. I close my eyes, and Mother's voice rises. The waves will carry you home. Maybe they're carrying me now, not to the cottage, but to a truth I'm only beginning to see. The piano's echo follows me into sleep, and for the first time, the mansion feels less like a cage and more like a door, half open, waiting for me to step through. The Caldwell mansion feels less like a fortress now, its sandalwood-scented halls softened by the memory of Nathan's piano. Yet his presence remains elusive, a flicker of green eyes at breakfast before he vanishes, to his study, leaving only the faint aroma of coffee behind. I twist Mother's silver ring, its worn edge grounding me as Father's betrayal echoes in my mind. A debt that bound me to this marriage, a truth I'm still unraveling. But Nathan's words linger too. You build homes, and they stir something. New, a fragile hope I'm afraid to name. This morning, I drive to the seaside cottage, craving Mother's warmth and Ben's light. The kitchen greets me with the scent of rising dough, though Mother's too weak to bake today. Ben's at the old upright piano, his fingers stumbling over a new piece, his grin wide when he hits a wrong note. I sit beside him, guiding his hand to the right key, the wood smooth under my touch. You're getting better, I say, and he laughs, his shirt smelling faintly of flour from helping earlier. The sound lifts me, a reminder of why I'm here, why I wear Nathan's ring beside Mother's. I hug Ben, his warmth seeping into me, and for a moment, the weight of the mansion fades. Back at the mansion, tension waits like a storm. Eleanor, Nathan's aunt, sweeps into the dining room, her gray eyes cold as the chandelier's crystals above. Her silk scarf carries a sharp floral note, cutting through the sandalwood. So, you're the girl who married for money, she says, her voice slicing the air. My breath catches, the silver ring biting into my palm as I clench my fist. I married for my family, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. She leans closer, her gaze venomous. Don't play innocent. You're here for the Caldwell fortune, just like your father was. The words land like a slap, Father's betrayal raw again. I tremble, anger and shame twisting inside me. Nathan appears, his tall frame filling the doorway, his face unreadable. He steps between us, his hand finding mine, his touch warm and firm, sending a jolt through me. Lily is my wife, he says, his voice low, resolute. Not your game, Eleanor. His fingers linger, steadying me, and I feel the pulse in his palm, strong and sure. Eleanor's lips tighten, but she leaves, her heels clicking sharply on the marble. I pull my hand free, my heart racing, her accusation echoing. Am I here for more than Mother and Ben? The silver ring feels heavier, a question I can't answer. Drive to the cottage again that evening, needing Mother's clarity. The kitchen is dim, lit by a single bulb, the air thick with chamomile as I brew tea. The kettle's soft hiss fills the silence, and I pour a cup for Mother, the steam warming my hands, curling like a memory. She sits at the table, her shawl, slipping to reveal thin shoulders. You deserve love, Lily, she says, her voice fragile but fierce, her hand trembling as she takes the cup. I think of her lullaby, the way it wrapped Ben and me in safety, and tears prick my eyes. I'm trying, I whisper, gripping her hand, feeling the faint pulse beneath her skin. She smiles, and I see the woman who taught me to braid daisies, to face the world with grace. Returning to the mansion, I find Nathan by the fireplace, the logs crackling, casting shadows across his face. His eyes are red-rimmed, his jaw tight, and I pause, the air heavy with something unspoken. I'm sorry, he says, his voice rough, like gravel underfoot. For being cold, for letting Eleanor hurt you. He steps closer, the firelight catching the lines of his face, and I smell coffee on him, mixed with the wood smoke. You scare me, Lily, he continues, his gaze locking with mine. Because I need you. Not as a deal, but to live. My breath catches, his words unraveling the walls I've built. I reach out, my fingers brushing his cheek, the faint stubble, rough under my touch. My heart pounds, mother's voice echoing. Love is a light in the dark. I step back, overwhelmed, the silver ring warm against my skin. Eleanor's words linger, just like your father, and I wonder if I'm betraying Mother by feeling this, by wanting Nathan's warmth. But his confession shifts something, like a door creaking open. I think of Ben at the piano, his laughter a melody of hope, and Mother's hand in mine, her pulse a promise. They're my strength, but Nathan, he's becoming something else, a man who sees me not as a debt, but as a home. I retreat to my room, the photo of Ben and me glowing under the lamp. I touch it, remembering Mother's laughter that day, her voice bright as the daisies in my hair. Father's letter sits in my drawer. Forgive him. And I wonder if forgiveness includes myself, for feeling this pull toward Nathan. The mansion hums with quiet, its walls no longer suffocating but watchful. Waiting. I slip the silver ring back on, its weight familiar now, a bridge between Mother's love and the unknown ahead. Outside, the Charleston night whispers, oak swaying in the breeze. I close my eyes, and Mother's lullaby rises. The waves will carry you home. Maybe home is more than the cottage, more than duty. Maybe it's the space between Nathan's confession and my trembling heart. A place where love might grow, fragile but fierce, like a daisy in stone. The Caldwell mansion no longer feels like a prison, its sandalwood halls softened by Nathan's confession, his raw words, "I need you to live," echoing in my heart. Yet I tread carefully, unsure of this fragile warmth between us. Each morning, I pass his study, catching the faint scent of coffee, his green eyes meeting mine for a fleeting moment before he looks away. I twist Mother's silver ring, its worn surface a steady pulse against my skin, anchoring me to her, to Ben, to the truth about Father I'm still grappling with. His betrayal, a theft from the Caldwells, binds me to Nathan in ways I never chose. But his kindness, his protection, makes me wonder if choice might grow from duty. Today, Nathan surprises me. He drives us to the seaside cottage, his hands steady on the wheel, the Charleston air thick with salt and magnolia. Inside, the kitchen smells of lemon and herbs, Mother's touch even in her weakness. Nathan wipes down the table, his sleeves rolled up, and laughs when Ben teases him for missing a spot. I watch, my heart swelling as Ben hums a tune, his voice bright against the clatter of dishes. Nathan catches my eye, his smile soft, and for a moment, the cottage feels like a home we've built together, not just a place I'm fighting to save. I hug Mother, her shawl soft under my fingers, her pulse stronger now, a quiet promise of healing. But the past won't stay buried. Back at the mansion, Eleanor returns, her gray eyes colder than the chandelier's gleam. She stands in the foyer, clutching old documents, her floral perfume sharp in the air. "Lily, you need to know the truth," she says, her voice low, trembling with something I can't place. "Nathan hid it to protect you." She hands me the papers, letters, ledgers, proof that Father's theft from the Caldwells wasn't just a mistake but a deliberate act, one that broke their trust and fueled the debt crushing us. "Nathan knew," she adds, softer now. "He paid it off because he loves you." My breath stops, the papers heavy in my hands, their ink smudged like Father's letter. Forgive him. Loves me? The word feels too big, too fragile. It looks like your message was cut off. I'll assume you meant to request Chapter 5 of The Silver Ring Beneath the Lights to continue from where we left off, completing the 1,000-word chapter as per the task. Below is the continuation and completion of Chapter 5. Sunset by the Sea, ensuring it adheres to the original task and the improved outline, written in English with a natural, sharp, and emotional tone for a 65-plus American audience. It focuses on family honor, resilience, and redemption, delivering a climactic reunion and forgiveness with a major twist, using a reflective, nostalgic style rich in sensory details, their dreams. My knees buckle, and I stumble outside, the papers fluttering to the floor. The Charleston dusk wraps around me, the air thick with salt, and the hum of cicadas. I run to the beach behind the cottage, my bare feet sinking into cold sand, the sea's breath sharp on my lips. The horizon burns red, a sunset that feels like a reckoning. Nathan loves me. He hid Father's shame, carried it silently, not to bind me but to set me free. The silver ring on my finger feels alive, pulsing with Mother's strength, Father's regret, and something new. My own heart, waking to a man I thought I'd never trust. Nathan finds me, his shirt damp from the waves, his hair wild in the wind. "Lily," he calls, his voice breaking, raw as the sea. His green eyes are red, desperate, and he stops short, hands clenched like he's afraid to reach for me. "I'm sorry," he says, his breath ragged, smelling faintly of coffee even now. "I hid it because I wanted you to choose. Not me, not the debt, but yourself." His words crash over me, waves of truth I can't outrun. I think of Mother's lullaby, her pulse under my fingers, Ben's laughter in the kitchen. They're my home. But Nathan, he's become part of it. His quiet sacrifices stitching us together. Tears blur my vision, and I step forward, closing the distance. "Why didn't you tell me?" I whisper, my voice trembling. The wind carries my words, but he hears, his face crumpling. "Because I love you, Lily," he says, softer now, a vow not of duty but of heart. "I wanted you free." I sob, and then I'm in his arms, my cheek against his chest, his heartbeat loud and steady through the damp cotton. The sunset paints us in gold, warm and fleeting, and I feel his breath hitch, his hands gentle in my hair. The sea roars, its rhythm matching our own, a promise sealed in salt and light. I pull back, meeting his eyes, and see not a captor, but a man who's given me more than I knew to ask. We walk back to the cottage, hand in hand, the sand cool between my toes. Mother waits on the porch, her shawl catching the last light, her smile brighter than I've seen in months. I hug her, feeling the pulse at her wrist, strong and sure, a melody of hope. Ben joins us, his guitar in hand, strumming a clumsy chord. That makes us laugh. Nathan sits beside me, his arm brushing mine, and I know this moment, our family, whole again, is worth every sacrifice. I slip a letter from my pocket, one I wrote last night. "Dear Nathan, I choose you, not because I must, but because I love you. I'll give it to him later, when the stars come out, a quiet vow of my own." Inside, the kitchen glows, smelling of lemon and bread, the table set for dinner. Mother hums her lullaby. "The waves will carry you home." And I feel it now, home not. Just in this cottage, but in us. In Nathan's steady gaze, in Ben's grin, in Mother's strength. The silver ring shines on my finger, no longer a chain but a circle, complete. Eleanor's words linger. "He loves you." And I see her pain, her loss mirrored in Father's mistakes. Forgiveness isn't erasure. It's planting something new, like the daisies I'll tend tomorrow. As we eat, Nathan's hand finds mine under the table, his touch warm, grounding. I think of Father's letter, forgive him, and know I'm learning too, for him, for myself. The sunset fades, but its glow lingers in my chest, a fire kindled by love I never expected. Mother laughs, Ben teases, and Nathan smiles, his eyes soft as the sea after a storm. This is our beginning, not an end. A home we've built from broken pieces, stronger for it. I close my eyes, the lullaby wrapping around me, and know the waves have carried me here. To love, to family, to a future I'll write with every trembling, hopeful step. The Caldwell mansion has shed its cold edges, its sandalwood halls now a quiet comfort rather than a cage. Nathan and I move through them with a new ease, our steps lighter since the sunset by the sea. His confession, "I love you, Lily," a melody that lingers in my heart. He's still reserved, his green eyes guarding secrets. But when he brushes, past me in the morning, his hand grazes mine, leaving a warmth that smells faintly of coffee. I twist Mother's silver ring, its worn surface a steady pulse, tying me to her, to Ben, to the love I'm learning to trust. The weight of fathers. Betrayal in Eleanor's truth hasn't vanished, but it feels softer now, like a bruise beginning to fade. Tonight, Nathan sits by the fireplace, the logs crackling, their smoky scent curling through the room. Shadows dance across his face, softening the sharp lines of his jaw. "I was 10 when a storm took my mother," he says, his voice low, rough with memory. "She was driving home, and the rain." He trails off, staring into the flames. I settle beside him, the hearth's heat kissing my skin, and share a piece of my own past. "Mother sang lullabies every night," I say, my throat tight. Even when she was sick, her voice was home. His eyes meet mine, bright in the firelight, and I see a boy who lost too much, a man who's finding it again. The silver ring warms on my finger, a bridge between our wounds. The next day, I drive to the seaside cottage, the Charleston air sharp with salt and pine. Mother's stronger now, her cheeks less pale, and we sit in the living room, a photo album open between us. The lamp casts a soft glow, making her shadow flicker like a memory. She turns the pages, her fingers trembling but sure, revealing snapshots of my childhood. Ben as a toddler, me with daisies in my hair, Mother laughing in the garden. "This was the day you were born," she says, pointing to a faded picture of her holding me, her smile radiant. Tucked inside the album, I find a note in her handwriting. "Lily will find happiness." My breath catches, tears spilling as I hug her, her sweater soft, smelling of chamomile from the tea we shared. "You always knew," I whisper, feeling her, pulse steady and warm, a lullaby in itself. Back at the mansion, a letter arrives from Eleanor, its envelope heavy with intent. I open it in the library, the air thick with leather and dust, the fire's glow faint. Her words are careful, raw. "I lost a child years ago, Lily. I envied Nathan's happiness. Feared you'd take it. I'm sorry." My heart twists, seeing her, not as a foe, but a woman broken by grief, like father was by his choices. I drive to my flower shop, the scent of daisies and roses wrapping around me, and call Eleanor, inviting her to visit. She arrives, her gray eyes softer, her scarf carrying that same floral bite. I hand her a bouquet of Mother's favorite chrysanthemums, their petals bright against her dark coat. "Forgiveness is living," I say, my voice steady, the silver ring glinting as I clasp her hand. She nods, tears falling, and I feel a weight lift, not just for her, but for me. That evening, Nathan finds me in the kitchen, where I'm brewing chamomile tea, the steam fogging my glasses, its sweet scent mingling with the mansion's sandalwood. He takes the kettle, his fingers brushing mine, and pours 2 cups, the clink of porcelain soft in the quiet. "You're changing me," he says, his voice a warm rumble, his eyes locked on mine. I smile, handing him a cup, the heat seeping through my palms. From the hall, Ben's piano drifts in, his notes uneven but joyful, a melody of hope that fills the space. Nathan's hand finds mine, his touch steady, and I know this moment. Tea, music, us, is a home we're building, brick by fragile brick. I think of Mother's note. Lily will find happiness and feel its truth now, not just in Nathan, but in forgiving Eleanor, in healing what Father broke. The photo album sits on my nightstand, its pages a map of love. Mother's laughter, Ben's grin, my own daisy-crowned smile. I slip the silver ring off, holding it to the lamplight, its surface catching the glow like a promise kept. Father's letter, forgive him, rests in my drawer, and I'm starting to. Not because he deserves it, but because I do. Forgiveness isn't a gift to him. It's freedom for me, for us. The mansion hums with life now, Ben's music echoing through its halls, Nathan's laughter a rare, precious sound. I close my eyes, and Mother's lullaby rises. The waves will carry you home. It's carried me here, to a love I never expected, to a family stitched together by time and grace. The tea cools in my cup, its chamomile scent a quiet vow, and I know I'm not just surviving this marriage. I'm living it, breathing it, with every beat of my heart. Outside, the Charleston night whispers, stars bright above the oaks. I lean against Nathan, his arm warm around me, and feel the silver ring on my finger, no longer a tether, but a circle, complete. Eleanor's chrysanthemums sit on the table, their petals a symbol of second chances. This is our story now, not of debts or betrayals, but of love that grows like daisies through stone, stubborn and true. The Caldwell mansion breathes with us now, its sandalwood halls no longer silent but alive with the quiet rhythm of our days. Nathan's presence is a steady warmth, his green eyes catching mine over breakfast, a smile tugging at his lips before he heads to his study, leaving a faint trail of coffee scent. I twist Mother's silver ring, its worn edge a gentle pulse, tying me to her, to Ben, to the love we've woven from broken threads. Eleanor's forgiveness and Nathan's love have softened the weight of Father's betrayal, but questions linger, like shadows at dusk. I'm learning to live in the light, but the past always has one last word. At the seaside cottage, Mother's strength grows, her laughter brighter in the kitchen's lemon glow. She sits with me one afternoon, the air thick with baking bread, her hands steady as she sips tea. "There's something I never told you," she says, her voice soft but firm, her eyes tracing the lines of my face. "Your father left money for you, a small sum hidden away. I thought it was lost, but Eleanor kept it, out of spite." My breath catches, the silver ring heavy on my finger. Money from Father, the man who broke us, feels like a tainted gift. "Why now?" I ask, my voice trembling. Mother squeezes my hand, her pulse warm under my touch. "Because you're ready to forgive," she says, and I see her lullaby in her smile, a melody of grace. I return to the mansion, my heart a tangle of anger and hope. Nathan waits in the library, the air rich with leather and wood smoke, papers spread across his desk. "I found it," he says, holding out a bank statement, Father's money, recovered from Eleanor's accounts. "It's for Ben," he adds, his voice steady. "For music school." My eyes sting, picturing Ben's grin, his clumsy chords on the old piano. Nathan's done this for us. Not for duty, but for love. And it cracks something open in me. "Forgive her, Lily," he says, stepping closer, his breath warm, smelling of coffee. "Not for Eleanor, but for you. To live." His words echo Mother's, a truth I'm beginning to hold. That evening, I plan a family night at the cottage, needing to anchor us all. The living room glows with firelight, the scent of burning cedar wrapping us like a shawl. Mother plays the piano, her fingers slow, but sure, a gentle waltz that feels like home. Ben sings, his voice cracking on high notes, making us laugh, his shirt faintly dusty from helping in my flower shop. Nathan sits beside me, his arm brushing mine, his warmth a quiet promise. I hold Mother's hand, feeling her pulse, stronger. Now, a rhythm of resilience. The silver ring catches the fire's glow, no longer a burden, but a circle of love. Eleanor arrives, uninvited but welcome, her gray eyes soft with regret. She stands by the hearth, her chrysanthemum scarf bright against her dark coat, its floral scent mingling with the cedar. "I was wrong," she says, her voice breaking. "I hid the money because I blamed your father for my own pain. My child. Lost long ago." Her confession lands gently, a wound laid bare. I think of Father's letter. Forgive him. And see Eleanor's grief, her envy, as mirrors of his mistakes. I step forward, hugging her, the fabric of her scarf soft under my fingers, her tears warm on my cheek. "We're here now," I say, and the room feels fuller, not with anger, but with grace. Later, Nathan pulls me aside, the fire casting shadows across his face, his eyes nervous in a way I've never seen. He kneels, his hand trembling as he holds out a new ring, simple gold that gleams like the hearth. "I'm afraid you'll say no," he says, his voice rough, raw with hope. "But I love you, Lily, and I want you forever, not because of a deal, but because you're my home." My heart races, Mother's lullaby rising in my mind. "The waves will carry you home." I take the silver ring from my finger, slipping it onto his, its worn surface cool against his skin. "We belong to each other," I say, my voice steady, and slide the gold ring on, its weight a new vow, freely chosen. The sea hums outside, its waves a soft chorus to our laughter. Mother plays another tune, Ben's voice joining in, and Eleanor smiles, her hands clasped tight. I lean against Nathan, his breath warm on my hair. The fires crackle a heartbeat we share. The silver ring on his finger, the gold on mine, they're not chains but promises, forged in forgiveness, love, and time. Father's money will lift Ben's dreams, but this moment, this family, is the true wealth we've found. I close my eyes, the cottage alive with music, warmth, and us. Mother's hand brushes mine, her pulse a steady song, and I know we've healed what was broken. Not perfectly, but enough. The firelight dances, the cedar scent grounding me, and I feel the weight of Father's choices lift, replaced by the lightness of now. This is home, not a place, but a truth we've carved together from the ashes of debt and doubt. Outside, the Charleston stars burn bright, the oaks whispering secrets that no longer scare me. Nathan's arm around me is a vow, unspoken but sure, and I know we're not done growing, not done loving. The silver ring, the gold, the lullaby. They carry us forward into a future we'll write, note by note, with every trembling, hopeful breath. The Caldwell Mansion has become our haven, its sandalwood halls alive with laughter and light. Nathan and I weave through them, our hands brushing as we pass, his green eyes catching mine with a warmth that still quickens my pulse. The silver ring on his finger, Mother's ring, gleams beside the gold one I wear, twin promises forged, in love, not duty. The weight of Father's betrayal, Eleanor's pain, and our fragile beginnings has softened, like waves smoothing stone. We've built something enduring, not just for us, but for Mother, Ben, and the family we've reclaimed. Yet I sense one last secret, a final note in this melody we've composed. Our days split between the mansion and the seaside cottage, where Mother's kitchen glows with lemon and bread, her strength a quiet miracle. My flower shop thrives, daisies, spilling from every corner, their scent a reminder of childhood summers. Nathan surprises me one morning, canceling a major deal to spend more time with us. "You're worth more than contracts," he says, his voice low, coffee-scented breath warm on my cheek. I smile, the gold ring heavy on my finger, and know he means it. Not just for me, but for Ben's dreams, for Mother's laughter, for the home we've grown. This afternoon, we gather at the shop, the Charleston air thick with salt and bloom. Mother and Ben arrive, her shawl catching the breeze, his guitar slung over his shoulder. Eleanor joins us, her gray eyes soft, a chrysanthemum pinned to her coat, its scent mingling with the daisies. We plant a daisy tree in the garden, a symbol of new beginnings, its roots sinking deep as Ben strums a chord, laughing when he misses. A note. I kneel in the dirt, my hands cool against the soil, and feel Nathan beside me, his fingers brushing mine, steady and sure. Mother smiles, her pulse strong when I hug her, and the sunset paints us in amber, our shadows blending on the sand. Back at the cottage, I slip the silver ring off, tracing its worn edge under the lamp's glow. It's heavier tonight, as if holding something more. I open it carefully, Father's ring, a hollow band, and find a folded note inside, its paper brittle, his handwriting faint. "Live happy, my Lily." My breath catches, tears falling as I clutch. The note, the ink smudged like his memory. Father, flawed and gone, left this wish for me, a plea for joy beyond his mistakes. I sob, and Nathan finds me, his arms wrapping tight, his shirt damp with sea air, smelling of salt and coffee. "What is it?" he asks, his voice a gentle rumble. I show him the note, my fingers trembling, and he kisses my forehead, his breath warm. "You've done it," he says. "You're happy." I nod, the gold ring glinting beside the silver. A vow complete. We sit on the porch, the sea humming under a sky bright with stars. Mother joins us, her lullaby drifting. "The waves will carry you home." Her voice stronger now, a melody of resilience. Ben strums softly, his chords steadier, his grin wide in the firelight. Eleanor watches, her hands clasped, a chrysanthemum tucked in her hair, and I see peace in her eyes, a wound healed by time. Nathan's arm circles me, his warmth a promise that needs no words, and I lean into him, the cottage alive with us, our laughter, our music, our love. The kitchen waits inside, its table set with bread and tea, the lemon scent mingling with the sea's breath. I think of Mother's note in the album. Lily will find happiness. And know it's here, in this moment, with Nathan's hand in mine. Ben's song. Mother's smile. Father's letter, forgive him, rests in my heart. Not a burden, but a gift, a reminder that love outlasts regret. The silver ring, the gold, they're not just metal, but stories, etched with every choice we've made, every tear we've turned to light. We walk to the shore, the sand cool under my feet, the waves a soft chorus. Nathan pulls me close, his lips brushing my hand, the rings catching the starlight. "We're home," he says, his voice thick, and I nod, my throat tight. Home isn't the cottage or the mansion. It's us, stitched together by grace, by forgiveness, by love that grew where none was promised. I think of the daisy tree, its roots deep, its petals bright, and nowhere like it, stubborn, thriving, beautiful in our flaws. The stars burn above, the oaks whispering secrets that hold no fear. Mother's lullaby fades, but its echo lives in me, in Nathan's steady gaze, in Ben's clumsy chords, in Eleanor's quiet presence. The cottage glows behind us, its light warm as the bread we'll share, as the life we've built. I close my eyes, the sea's rhythm my heartbeat, and know this is enough. This family, this love, this happiness I've found. not despite the past, but because of it. If this story has touched your heart, share a memory of your own family, a moment that made you whole. Leave it below, and subscribe for more journeys of love and home. Because like the waves, these stories carry us, guiding us to where we belong.